Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani is moving quickly to shape what many observers are already calling one of the most closely watched transitions in modern New York City politics. Just weeks after his election victory, Mamdani traveled to Greenpoint, Brooklyn, to make a series of transition-related announcements that offer the clearest picture yet of how he intends to govern, and how seriously he is taking the enormous task ahead. At the center of this announcement were two key appointments. First, Mamdani introduced a new head of intergovernmental relations, a role that will be critical in navigating relationships with
We
Albany,
must act
Washington,
now
and
to
neighboring
ensure a better
jurisdictions.
future for everyone.
In a city as complex as New York, success often depends not just on bold ideas, but on the ability to work effectively with state and federal governments that control major funding streams and regulatory powers. By prioritizing this position early, Mamdani is signaling that he understands the structural realities of governing and the importance of coordination beyond City Hall. The second major appointment was the selection of a director tasked with managing the overwhelming response to his transition team's call for applicants. According to figures shared during the announcement, more than 70,000 people have applied for positions in the incoming administration. That number alone tells a powerful story. It reflects not only the size
We
of
must
New York
act
City's
now
workforce,
to ensure
but
a
also
better
the level
future
of
for
enthusiasm
everyone.
and expectation surrounding Mamdani's victory. Many of these applicants are drawn by his promise of a more inclusive, people-centered government and see his administration as an opportunity to participate in meaningful change. However, this unprecedented level of interest also presents a major logistical challenge. Sorting through tens of thousands of applications requires systems, transparency, and discipline. By appointing a dedicated director for this process, Mamdani appears intent on avoiding accusations of favoritism or chaos, while also ensuring that his administration is staffed by individuals aligned with his policy goals and ethical standards. Beyond staffing, the mayor-elect's
We must
transition
act
is
now
unfolding
to
against
ensure a
difficult
better
financial
future
backdrop.
for everyone.
Mamdani's team has acknowledged that New York City is facing a projected budget gap of approximately $380 million. This is not a minor obstacle. Budget shortfalls force difficult choices, particularly for an incoming administration that has made ambitious promises around affordability, housing, public services, and equity. For Mamdani, this challenge goes to the heart of his political identity. Throughout his campaign, he framed economic inequality as a policy failure, not an inevitability. He promised to prioritize working-class New Yorkers, expand access to affordable housing, and invest in public goods that have long been underfunded. Now,
We
as
must
mayor-elect,
act now
he must
to ensure
reconcile
a
those
better
commitments
future
with
for
fiscal
everyone.
realities that often constrain even the most well-intentioned leaders. Critics have been quick to point out this tension. Some argue that Mamdani's democratic socialist agenda could clash with the need for fiscal restraint, warning that bold spending proposals may be difficult to implement without raising taxes or cutting other services. Others question whether his administration will be able to maintain financial stability while pursuing structural reforms. Supporters, on the other hand, see the budget gap as precisely the kind of challenge Mamdani was elected to confront. They argue that previous administrations often balanced budgets at the expense of vulnerable communities, and that Mamdani's approach, focused on long-term affordability
We
and
must
fairness,
act now
could
to
ultimately
ensure a
strengthen the
better
city's
future
financial
for
health.
everyone.
From this perspective, the transition period is not just about plugging holes, but about rethinking priorities. Media coverage reflects this divide. Local outlets like ABC 7 New York have focused on the practical aspects of the transition, the appointments, the sheer volume of applicants, and the looming budget concerns. Their reporting emphasizes the scale of the task facing Mamdani and the early steps he is taking to build a functioning administration. National and aggregated platforms, including outlets tracked by Ground News, highlight the broader political implications. Mamdani's rise has attracted attention well beyond New York, positioning him as a prominent figure in the growing
We must
progressive
act
wing of
now
American politics.
to ensure a better future
His
for everyone.
identification with democratic socialism places him within a national conversation about the future of the Democratic Party, the role of government in addressing inequality, and the limits of market-driven solutions. This wider scrutiny brings both opportunity and risk. On one hand, Mamdani has a platform to influence debates far beyond City Hall. On the other, every decision he makes during the transition is being examined as evidence of whether progressive governance can succeed at scale. Supporters see his early moves as thoughtful and deliberate, while critics are watching closely for signs of inexperience or overreach. The Greenpoint announcement also carries symbolic weight. By choosing Brooklyn, rather than a more
We must
traditional
act
power
now
center,
to
as the
ensure
site
a
of his
better
remarks,
future for
Mamdani
everyone.
reinforces his image as a mayor rooted in neighborhoods rather than elite institutions. It aligns with his broader message that city government should be accessible, responsive, and reflective of the people it serves. Taken together, these early transition moves reveal a careful balancing act. Mamdani is clearly eager to move fast, but he is also demonstrating an awareness of the complexities of governing a city as large and diverse as New York. Staffing decisions, budget planning, and intergovernmental coordination are not glamorous, but they are essential. By addressing them head-on, Mamdani appears intent on translating campaign rhetoric into operational reality. Ultimately, this moment
We must
underscores the
act
central
now
question
to
surrounding
ensure a
Zohran
better
Mamdani's
future
mayoralty.
for everyone.
Can bold political change coexist with practical governance? His early announcements suggest that he is attempting exactly that, pairing ambitious values with administrative discipline. Whether this approach succeeds will depend not just on his vision, but on how effectively his team navigates the economic, political, and institutional constraints ahead. As the transition continues, New Yorkers and national observers alike will be watching closely. The choices made now will shape not only Mamdani's administration, but also the broader debate about what progressive leadership looks like in one of the world's most complex cities.